Hello everybody. Today we are going to learn about the topic natural resources. What are natural resources? Natural resources are basically the things that come from nature and not made by people. We use them in our daily lives. The name itself suggests, right? Natural resources, naturally occurring resources. They basically help us live and grow. Let us see what are some examples for natural resources. We have air, we have soil, minerals, animals, crops, forests. These are some examples for natural resources. Let us talk about the classifications of natural resources. There are two major classifications. The first one is called inexhaustible or renewable natural resources. What are these? These are resources that never run out. No matter how much we use them, they are always available because nature keeps making them. And not just making them, the nature keeps making them at a rapid pace. What are some examples for renewable natural resources? Number one, we have sunlight. Sun gives us light and heat every day. We also have wind. The air keeps moving and it doesn't stop. The third major example is water. When we talk about water, let us also learn what is a water cycle. Water cycle is nothing but we have rain, and the rain helps the rivers. The river in turn join the oceans, and from ocean the water evaporates again, and then there is rain. So this is a continuous cycle and it doesn't stop. This is also a good example for renewable natural resource. And let us also talk about solar energy. In the previous slide, we spoke about sun, which is also an example for renewable natural resource. Let us also talk about solar energy. Since Earth formed, the sun has produced energy in the form of heat and light, and this can be used for generating electricity. You might have seen, in houses we set up solar panels. Even some industries set up these solar panels to generate electricity. So we basically can harness the sunlight that is readily available and convert it into energy. We also have wind power. I think all of you have seen the windmills. We use these windmills to generate electricity. There are large turbines that are there which rotate at a very high speed to generate electricity as well, and that is how we can harness the wind power. Then we also have flowing water. We spoke about rivers, right? Now similarly, the flowing water, the energy can be captured. We can generate kinetic energy. Basically electricity can be generated by using the flowing water. We also have geothermal energy. We also in the previous slide we saw that there is sunlight, there is heat that is available every day. Geothermal energy, similarly, there is an earth core. This core is continuously being warmed, and the warmth in the core can also be used for generating energy. So this is called geothermal energy. Then the second category that I want to talk about is the exhaustible or non-renewable natural resource. These are resources that we can run out if we use them too much. They are limited because, like I mentioned in the previous one, nature makes it rapidly, but in this case it takes a really long time to make more of these. Now let us talk about few examples. Coal. We have found coal, humans have found coal, but then coal, the formation of coal itself took millions and millions of years, and once we use this up, we'll again have to wait another million years for the coal to occur again. So once we use it up, it's gone. Similarly, we have petroleum, or we call it crude oil. This is also, we use it to make fuel like petrol, diesel. This also can run out. Though it is naturally occurring, it takes millions and millions of years for earth to form petroleum or oil. And again, once we use it, we run out of it, and we'll have to wait another few thousand or million years for it to occur again. We also have natural gases. A gas like we use for cooking or heating, this is also limited. Then another solid example is forests. Yes, that is also a non-renewable natural resource. If we cut too many trees and then we don't plant new ones, we are going to lose them. That is why we say you cut one tree, you plant 100 saplings or 100 seeds. This is the only way we can make sure that the forests don't deplete. The next category that we spoke about, the non-renewable natural resource, One major example I mentioned was petroleum. Let us talk about what petroleum is. Petroleum is nothing but a thick, black, oily fluid or liquid that you find in the earth's surface. It is also called crude oil sometimes. The second major example that I gave was coal. Coal again is a black or brownish black rock that burns very easily. That is why it is very highly sought after, because it burns very quickly and easily. And this is also found underground. It is made from the remains of plants that lived millions of years ago. This is why, it takes so much time for earth to make coal and petroleum. The faster we use it, the faster we are going to not have petrol and coal. Let us talk in the next slide about formation of petroleum. Like I mentioned, petroleum is a thick, black and oily liquid found very, very, very deep underground. It is also called crude oil. We dig it out of the earth and use it to make many useful things like petrol, diesel. But where does petroleum come from? How is it formed? Long, long, long ago, millions of years ago, many, many, many tiny plants and animals that lived in the ocean, they died. They sank to the bottom of the ocean, and eventually they got buried under layers of sand and rock. And then, over millions of years, there was also heat. Because of the layers, there was pressure, which ultimately turned them into petroleum. What do we use petroleum for? Like I mentioned, main use of petroleum is for fuel, petrol and diesel for cars, and even kerosene for lamps. We also use it for producing LPG, liquid petroleum gas. This is also used for cooking. Then we also have plastic, some paints, medicine, and sometimes even clothes. We use petroleum. And another fun fact, petroleum is also called liquid gold because it is so expensive. And why should we save petroleum? Like I mentioned, it takes millions of years for us, to even find petroleum, for earth to make it. So it can run out very, very quickly if we don't control how we use it. Another major disadvantage is that burning petroleum, too much of petroleum and burning it can also cause pollution. So one suggestion that I have is we should always encourage everybody to use energy wisely, learn about renewable energy like sunlight, harnessing sunlight to generate electricity. Even you can also see that there are a lot of electric vehicles that are coming, so that we can limit the use of petrol or diesel. So these are some ways which can lead to conserving of petroleum. The next one I want to talk about is the formation of coal. Now, very, very similar to petroleum, coal is also found in the earth's, underground. And coal is a very hard black or even sometimes brown rock, which is found deep underground. It can catch fire very quickly and burn to give heat and energy. But how is coal made? Again, millions of years ago, just the plants and trees that grew in swampy areas, they all died. They sank into the muddy ground. Over time, again, thousands of years later, there were layers of mud and rocks that covered them. Then there was heat, pressure from these layers that turned the plants into coal. Unlike in petroleum, in coal only plants and these basically plants and trees form the coal. But in petroleum, even animals, plants and animals both form petroleum, that is the oil. So that is the major difference. Coal, another fun fact, coal is also called a fossil fuel because it comes from dead plants. Fossil is nothing but something that comes from being dead. Fossil, like dinosaur is called a fossil because sometimes, right now dinosaurs are extinct. So that is why it is called, whenever you find a very intact dinosaur bone, it's called a fossil because it's dead. It's made from dead plants. So coal is also called a fossil fuel. Like I said, it is made from dead plants, just like fossils, or even the like I said, remains of ancient animals. The next one, why are natural resources important? Natural resources, we definitely would not survive without any of these natural resources. Imagine if there was no sun. So if there is no sun, we absolutely cannot survive. Everybody, plants need sun, we need plants. Again, with the air, if there is no oxygen, we cannot survive. And right now, even some of like the trees, the plants, it's a complete holistic cycle. We are all interdependent on each other. So having natural resources is so much more important. And the like my slide says, more than 60% of the resources use are towards food, drink, mobility. Now how can we help conserve these resources? Number one, planting of trees. Every time there is a new flyover construction that is happening, or even a metro construction, there are lot of trees that are chopped down. So another alternative is to plant more saplings so that we can make up for the lost trees. First one would be to not cut them, obviously. The second is to plant more saplings or seeds so that we can at least make up for the lost trees. Number two, follow methods like carpooling, sharing of your cars, and not to drive alone, taking public transport so that lesser amount of petrol or diesel is used, or even better, use resources like electric, so that electric vehicles or EV vehicles, or right now if you can see, there are also EV buses, electric buses, which does not use a lot of petrol, or which does not use petrol, diesel at all, and it is better for the environment. So these are some ways that we can follow to help conserve natural resources.